Astro-Vāstu Interior Design for Sagittarius Rising, Dhanu Lagna. A Jupiter-led, fire-ether-aligned spatial doctrine for meaning, direction, and inner freedom for aware, empathic, and high-sensitivity individuals. What you are designing here is not a house. You are designing a compass for a Jupiter-ruled life. As a Sagittarius rising, space either keeps your inner direction alive or slowly collapses it into restlessness, overextension, and quiet disillusionment. When the environment is wrong, the symptoms don't look dramatic. They look like distraction, loss of faith, half-finished plans, intellectual arrogance masking inner doubt, or a constant urge to escape instead of engage. Your home must never feel confining, cynical, or spiritually empty. It must feel purposeful, breathable, and quietly expansive, like a place that reminds you why you are living the life you are living. 1. First house, Lagna zone overall spatial identity, Jupiterian orientation field. You should treat your Lagna zone as the orienting axis of your entire life. The moment you enter, your system must feel, I know where I'm going from here. If this zone feels cluttered, directionless, or purely utilitarian, Jupiter weakens, and confusion replaces conviction. You must prioritize openness, clarity, and upward visual movement. Energy should lift and extend, not compress. Low ceilings, heavy furniture at the entrance, or blocked sightlines subtly depress your sense of purpose. Work with warm neutrals that suggest light and wisdom: ivory, soft cream, pale gold, warm sand, light ochre. You may introduce touches of royal blue, indigo, or muted purple, but only as accents. Excess intensity turns philosophy into ego. Furniture here should feel confident, but not heavy. Pieces with vertical lines, open backs, and breathable spacing work best. Avoid overly plush, grounding furniture that anchors you too much at the threshold. You are not meant to feel rooted here. You are meant to feel oriented. Lighting must be bright, natural, and clean. Jupiter needs illumination. Dimness here directly translates into doubt and loss of motivation. You should place one symbolic focal element, an artwork that suggests horizons, travel, philosophy, or learning. If you use crystals, amethyst, or yellow sapphire tone stones work well when placed simply, never displayed. This zone is about meaning, not decoration. Avoid mirrors, clutter, or anything that visually fragments the space. This zone exists to align you, not distract you. 2. Second house, main entrance and threshold values, ethics, and life direction. Your entrance determines how aligned you feel with your values every day. For Sagittarius rising, this is not about security, it's about integrity. You should prioritize the east and northeast. These directions support ethical clarity, optimism, and growth. Dark, cramped, or overly ornate entrances quietly corrode faith in life itself. The door should feel dignified and honest. Natural wood, warm beige, honey tones, or soft yellow are ideal. Avoid black, overly glossy finishes, or aggressive colors. Hardware should be solid and simple, nothing flashy or symbolic. Lighting must be bright and uplifting. Shadows here manifest as moral confusion or lack of confidence in your path. You should keep this zone clean and almost austere. One meaningful object, a quote, symbol, or subtle spiritual motif is enough. If you use crystals, a small citrine or clear quartz placed discreetly supports optimism and income through purpose. Avoid clutter, shoe piles, mirrors facing the door, or transactional decor. This space should quietly affirm you are walking your own path. Half 3. Third house, living room dialogue, perspective, and shared meaning. This space governs how you exchange ideas with the world. If it feels cramped, noisy, or overly casual, you may feel misunderstood or intellectually lonely, even in company. You should design this area to encourage conversation, learning, and mental expansion. Use light neutrals with warm undertones: cream, pale taupe, soft gold, light terracotta. Avoid stark whites or heavy earth tones that dull enthusiasm. Furniture should encourage openness. Seating that faces outward, flexible arrangements, and visible pathways are important. Avoid closed circles or overly cozy setups that trap energy. Lighting should be clear and adjustable. Natural light is ideal. Otherwise, use layered lighting that allows you to brighten the space during conversation and soften it afterward. You may enhance this space with books, maps, art, or objects that reflect lived knowledge, not display intelligence. Jupiter responds to wisdom gained through experience. Avoid clutter, excessive electronics, or decor that feels ironic or cynical. When aligned, conversations inspire rather than exhaust you. Fourth house, Inner belief, core faith, emotional meaning, and inner stability. For you, emotional safety comes from believing life has meaning. If the zone is chaotic, heavy, or emotionally flat, you may feel ungrounded without knowing why. You should design this space for quiet reflection and reassurance. Use warm earth-fire blends: sand, clay, muted terracotta, soft brown, warm taupe. These tones stabilize belief without dulling it. Furniture must feel reliable and familiar. This is not a performance zone. It is where your philosophy becomes embodied. Lighting should be warm and steady. Avoid dramatic contrasts or experimental lighting. Candles are supportive if used simply. You may include meaningful objects, travel memories, spiritual symbols, or items that remind you of growth. One or two are enough. Excess symbolism overwhelms Jupiter. Avoid mirrors, loud decor, or visual chaos. This zone must feel like a place where doubt can rest without being judged. Core Sagittarius Astro-Vastu law. Meaning creates direction. Direction creates confidence. Confidence creates expansion. When your space reminds you of why you live the way you do, Jupiter expresses as wisdom, optimism, ethical growth, and sustained success. When your home feels directionless, cynical, or spiritually hollow, Jupiter turns into restlessness, overpromising, and quiet loss of faith. This is not inspirational decor. This is spatial philosophy for a Jupiter-led life. 5. Fifth house. Creativity, joy, and inspired play. This is where your joy either renews your faith in life or quietly turns into excess. For Sagittarius Rising, pleasure must feel meaningful. If this space is overstimulating, indulgent, or chaotic, joy becomes performative, chasing experiences, highs, or validation without real fulfillment. You should design this zone to feel uplifting, open, and inspired rather than indulgent. Warm yellows, soft golds, muted oranges, gentle terracotta, or touches of indigo balanced with neutrals keep enthusiasm alive without tipping into restlessness. Furniture should encourage participation, not collapse. Light seating, open floor areas, and flexible arrangements support movement and creative engagement. Avoid overly plush furniture that traps energy and turns joy passive. Lighting should be bright and optimistic, ideally natural. This is the right place for creative tools, books, musical instruments, or learning materials you actually use. Jupiter responds to lived creativity, not symbolic display. When aligned, joy restores optimism, creativity renews belief, and confidence grows without arrogance. 6. Sixth house. Daily effort, health, and discipline fire. This zone governs how you sustain energy and discipline over time. For Sagittarius Rising, routine must serve purpose. If this space feels chaotic, dull, or oppressive, motivation collapses into resistance or burnout. You should keep this area clean, efficient, and well lit. Use warm whites, pale yellow, light green, or soft beige to support vitality without overstimulation. Avoid dark, heavy colors that dampen momentum. The layout must support smooth, logical movement. Everything you use daily should be easy to access. Friction here shows up as procrastination, careless habits, or inconsistent health routines. Lighting should be clear and practical, no shadows where work is done. This zone benefits from simplicity, order, and visible structure. When aligned, effort feels worthwhile, discipline becomes natural, and health stabilizes without rigidity. 7. Seventh house. Master bedroom and grounded commitment. This is one of the most important zones for Sagittarius Rising. If rest is shallow or the space feels transient, growth turns into avoidance and commitment feels restrictive. You should design this area to ground expansion, not suppress it. Use calm, stabilizing tones: warm taupe, soft brown, muted blue, gentle gray. Avoid excessive brightness or stimulation. The bed must feel solid and centered, with a stable headboard. This gives your nervous system permission to stop moving. Symmetry on both sides of the bed supports balance in relationships. Lighting should be low, warm, and steady. Overhead harsh lights disturb rest. Natural fabrics are essential. They help the body feel anchored. Avoid work items, screens, or symbolic clutter. When aligned, rest becomes restorative, not escapist, and commitment feels supportive rather than confining. 8. Eighth house. Storage, beliefs, and excess release. This zone governs what you hold on to, materially, mentally, and philosophically. For Sagittarius Rising, clutter here represents outdated beliefs and excess ideas that no longer serve growth. You must keep this space orderly, closed, and intentional. Use neutral, grounding colors: off-white, stone gray, soft beige. Avoid dramatic or intense colors that activate attachment. Everything stored here should be periodically reviewed. What you keep must still feel relevant. Sagittarius accumulates ideas quickly. This zone prevents dogma and overload. Storage systems, clear categorization, and regular clearing are essential. This is not a space for forgotten items. When aligned, belief systems refresh naturally, mental clarity improves, and growth remains flexible instead of rigid. 9. Ninth house, wisdom, ethics, and living truth. This is where your beliefs either mature into wisdom or harden into ideology. For Sagittarius rising, this zone must support lived understanding, not abstract philosophy. When this space is cluttered, chaotic, or purely intellectual, faith weakens and conviction turns preachy or hollow. You should design this area to feel calm, open, and quietly dignified. Use soft creams, warm parchment, pale gold, light sand, or muted indigo accents. These colors support reflection without overstimulation. Furniture should invite contemplation: an upright reading chair, a simple desk, or a meditation seat. Avoid casual lounging furniture that encourages mental drift rather than insight. Lighting must be focused but gentle. Harsh brightness creates mental arrogance. Dimness invites doubt. Balance is key. You may include books, spiritual objects, or symbols of meaning, but only those that reflect lived experience. Jupiter grows through integration, not accumulation. When aligned, wisdom deepens, ethics guide action naturally, and faith feels embodied rather than theoretical. 10. 10th house, purposeful work, contribution, and authority. This zone governs how you bring meaning into the world through action. For Sagittarius rising, work must align with belief, or motivation collapses into burnout or disillusionment. You should keep this space structured, clear. Notice you still want this zone to feel expansive, not heavy. Use warm neutrals with one subtle power accent: soft gold, muted rust, or deep ochre. Furniture should feel upright and supportive. A solid desk and ergonomic seating reinforce responsible expansion. Avoid slouch-inducing furniture that erodes authority. Lighting must be bright, clear, and functional. Shadows here show up as uncertainty about direction. Display only a few symbols of contribution: teaching tools, credentials, or meaningful achievements. Avoid ego-driven decor. When aligned, authority feels ethical, contribution feels purposeful, and motivation sustains without force. 11. 11th house, community, students, and shared vision. This zone governs how your ideas circulate and who grows with you. For Sagittarius rising, stagnation here breeds boredom and loss of hope. You should design this space to feel open, social, and forward-looking. Light neutrals with touches of warm color work best. Avoid heavy or closed-off layouts. Furniture should encourage conversation and collaboration. Open seating, clear pathways, and breathable arrangements support shared vision. Plants, airflow, and natural light are especially beneficial here. Growth must be visible. Avoid emotionally heavy decor, nostalgia, or obligation-based symbolism. This space is about future-oriented connection. When aligned, teaching becomes reciprocal, support aligns with vision, and enthusiasm renews through community. 12th house, surrender, faith, and quiet understanding. This zone teaches you the deepest Sagittarius lesson. Truth expands when it is lived in silence, not preached. You must keep this space minimal, soft, and almost empty. Pale beige, warm off-white, or gentle gray are ideal. This zone should feel like a pause in time. Furniture should be minimal and comforting. Clear floor space matters. This is not a storage area. Lighting must be indirect and very gentle. Candles are appropriate if they feel grounding rather than ceremonial. You may place one simple object of faith, a stone, a neutral cloth, or a small symbol that carries meaning without explanation. Avoid mirrors, visual noise, or ideological decor. This space exists to let belief settle into wisdom. When aligned, rest deepens, faith matures, restlessness dissolves, and growth continues inwardly without urgency.